Good evening and welcome to the national news broadcast on ChannelEye. We are ready to bring you the top stories from home and around the world. I'm Natalia Virvardhana.
Good evening, I'm Charita Minipurarachi, and let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news. A new statement from the Defence Minister of Pakistan regarding the killing of Nakamura. The Prime Minister says the government is committed to make Sri Lanka a centre in the region's global marine environment. An order has been given to provide new litro-gas cylinders in exchange of cylinders with unbroken seals in homes and in the market. Minister Lokuge says the government's aim is to find a negotiated settlement to strikes and protests. Chief of Staff of Indian Defence Forces killed in an air crash. On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with local stories. Pakistan media report says that controversial statement of the Minister of Defence in Pakistan regarding the murder of Nakamura Devardhana has been altered. Defence Minister Pervez Khattak has stated today that maximum punishment should be given to those who were responsible for the killing. The Pakistani Defence Minister, in an early inquiry of media personnel, has stated that the incident was an emotional act of youth. He had attempted to portray the incident as a normal occurrence. His previous stance was totally against the position of the Prime Minister, the defence divisions and the business community of Pakistan regarding the incident. However, in the face of criticism levelled against him, the Defence Minister appeared to have made an effort to change his position. Pervez Khattak has stated lately that he condemned the killing and it was against Islamic teachings. The minister has also stated that maximum punishment should be meted under culprits. The minister further stated that what he had attempted through his previous statement was to convince that there was no political connection to the incident. The Punjab police was reported to have arrested 8 more main suspects of the incident today. Accordingly, the number of major suspects taken into custody in this connection has risen to 34. Punjab Chief Minister Usman Bazbar that he will personally supervise the progress of the investigations. The 8 main suspects arrested today have been produced before the courts. A group of people's representatives, including the Speaker Mahinda Devardhana, has paid last respect to the remains of Nakamura today. Religious performances on the body of Nakamura were conducted at his residence this afternoon. The message of the condolences of the President was delivered by the Chairman of the Gampaha Development Committee, Parliamentarian Sahan Pradeep Vitanage. The Prime Minister's message of condolence was presented by Chairperson of Mahara Pradesh Sabha, Sudeem Chandani. Thereafter, the final rites were conducted at the Polhen Public Cemetery in Ganemulla.
The Secretary General of the Bay of Bengal entry of Multilateral Technological and Economic Cooperation, better known as the BIMSTEC organization, Tenzin Lekapil, has called on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the President's Secretariat this morning. Mr. Lekapil has assumed duties in the post of Secretary General of the BIMSTEC organization on the 6th of November last year. He is currently engaged in a visit to Sri Lanka for the first time. Chairmanship of the BIMSTEC organization has been entrusted upon Sri Lanka in the period 2018 to 2020. The Secretary General has commended Sri Lanka's contributions to the BIMSTEC organization during this period. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has pointed out on this occasion that the regional cooperation being constructed through the BIMSTEC organization should become more productive. He has pledged that Sri Lanka will continue to commit itself to extend cooperation to the BIMSTEC Secretariat and its member states, indirectly handing over benefits to the people in the region. The President also said that Sri Lanka has focused attention on the need for an institutional reform upon fulfillment of its commitments on a BIMSTEC charter. It has also been pointed out that member states should share responsibilities of the fields in their future BIMSTEC activities. The main sectors applicable to Sri Lanka in this regard are science, technology and innovations. The President further said that an action plan in this regard is scheduled to be presented in the next few months. He has also expressed hope on the possibility of holding the 5th BIMSTEC summit, which has been delayed due to the pandemic, in the first quarter in the next year. A group of persons, including President Secretary P.B. Jayasundara, has also attended the meeting.
And meanwhile, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the government of Sri Lanka is committed to make Sri Lanka the sustainable hub of the regional marine environment. The Prime Minister has made this observation by delivering the keynote address of the Asia-Pacific Region Global Ocean Conference via digital technology yesterday.
As an island nation surrounded by the Indian Ocean, Sri Lanka holds a great responsibility in protecting the Indian Ocean, which starts with respecting the ocean and its inhabitants. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 14 focused on the life below the water, and its targets are to conserve and sustainability use the oceans, seas and marine resources for sustainable development. While there had been a considerable amount of dialogue on marine life protection, I believe that it is time for us to put words into action. Sri Lanka has launched several initiatives to protect marine inhabitants. Accordingly, Sri Lanka has banned the use of bottom trawling practices and other overfishing activities. We must understand that our oceans and its inhabitants play a crucial role in producing 50% of the oxygen we breathe. Therefore, protection of the ocean and its inhabitants should be our key priority over all else. With this understanding, I initiated the establishment of the Ocean University of Sri Lanka in 2014 with the aim of developing the manpower required to achieve the economic benefits of marine, maritime, fisheries and allied sectors while conserving oceanic resources. As Sri Lanka is embarking on an ambitious goal to become the maritime hub in the Indian Ocean, as we all share the same ocean, instead of making sustainability a limiting factor of the economy, we are determined to use our green agendas to generate more economic growth habitats. It is time for all of us to take action and walk the talk before it is too late.
Meanwhile, Minister of Health Dr. Kelly Rambukwala says steps will be taken to draft legislation to make it compulsory to receive COVID vaccination. Minister Kelly Rambukwala says that it is the government's responsibility to vaccine all and to reduce the corona-related death toll. He added that security programs are also being implemented. He added that preparations are being made to make it compulsory to receive both doses of the vaccine. The Health Division says stern action will have to be focused on exceeding number of 700 of the daily COVID-19 infections. Specialist physician Dr. Ranjit Batuantudava says that it would become possible to establish within the next 2 days whether the virus was infected to those who were in contact with the Omicron-infected woman detected in Sri Lanka. Inoculation of the booster vaccine to persons above the age of 20 years with low immunity and also to senior citizens above the age of 60 years was conducted in many districts, including Colombo today as well. 37,053,979 doses of vaccines have so far been administered on people in Sri Lanka. The number of those who have received the first dose is 15,948,495. The number of persons who have received both doses of the vaccine is 13,771,693. The booster dose has been delivered on 1,033,791 persons. 572 COVID-19 infected persons have been detected in the country today. The number of patients continuously receiving treatment is 543,467. 356 persons have been cured today. The total number of fully recovered persons is 543,467. Meanwhile, the Director General of Health Services has confirmed 28 COVID-19 related deaths which have occurred yesterday. 21 of the fatalities were of the age of 60 and above. The remaining 7 victims were of the ages between 30 and 59 years.
And meanwhile, the Deputy Director General of Health Services, Dr. Hemant Herath, says that surveillance and screening mechanisms are in place at the airport to detect any variant of COVID-19, including Omicron. He further said that the public should be more cautious in their behavior during the upcoming festive season to avoid another surge of COVID-19 outbreak in the country. He made these remarks at a media briefing held today.
We know that we have taken all possible precaution to prevent the entry of Omicron variant into the country. However, we know that whatever the actions that we are taking, still there is a possibility of this variant coming into the country, since we cannot identify any persons who are infected with Omicron variant or any other variant at the time of arrival. The people are subject to several tests related to gene sequencing to come to a conclusion or to confirm that these people are infected with specific variants, and this is not practical. So therefore we have already instituted several screening measures at the airport. Anyone who is not complying with such standards will be subjected to different quarantine measures, and thereby we will minimizing the possibility of entering the disease into the country. But we know that what is most important, Omicron variant or any other variant we have detected earlier, also shown they are subjected or they are always sensitive to the basic health guidelines that we have recommended. Therefore, all citizens are requested to adhere to the health guideline all the time, every time, everywhere, so that the possibility of getting yourself infected will be minimal, and thereby even if this variant is there, it will naturally wean off, or it will naturally die among those infected persons without spreading into others. So what is important is adhere to the health guideline. And also we have to emphasize another important thing. In the coming festival, there will be parties, there will be entertainment events, and there can be situations where people are gathering, eating and drinking with very close interactions with each other. Everyone who are participating in these events should keep in their mind that adhering to the health guideline will be the only way to escape from getting infected if an infected person is among yourselves gathering. So therefore, always adhere to the health guidelines to the letter if you are participating in such events, and always try not to participate. And we might have to sacrifice this year's festive season also because of the COVID, and possibly we can enjoy our whatever the things lost events if we can control this disease to a great extent by adhering to the health guidelines, especially during this festive season.
And on the same note, moving to the world update, World Health Organization says that the existing vaccines should still protect people who contract the Omicron variant from severe COVID cases. It comes as the first lab test of the new variant in South Africa suggests it can partially evade the Pfizer jab. Researchers say that there was a large drop in how the vaccine antibodies neutralized the new strain. Yet the WHO's Dr. Mike Ryan said that there was no sign Omicron would be better at evading vaccines than other variants. He said initial data suggested Omicron did not make people sicker than the Delta and other strains, as the direction is towards less severity with the vaccination. Omicron is the most heavily mutated version of coronavirus found so far. It was first identified in South Africa, where there is now a surge in the number of people catching COVID multiple times. But Omicron's ability to cause severe diseases is not yet clear. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the top US infectious disease expert, said early evidence suggested Omicron could be more transmissible but less severe. There have been more than 267 million cases and more than 5 million deaths around the globe since the pandemic started in 2020. And on a different note, the Consumer Affairs Authority has instructed the Litro Gas Company to take measures to recover the sealed and unused gas cylinders distributed to the homes and business places prior to the 4th of this month. The Consumer Affairs Authority has instructed the gas companies not to release gas cylinders to the market upon disclosure of island-wide gas cylinder-related accidents. It has also taken measures to inspect gas samples brought to the island via ships since the 3rd of this month. The testing was being carried out by the laboratories of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. Thereafter, the relevant companies was granted permission to release stocks to the gas market under several conditions. The Consumer Affairs Authority has informed the companies to bring back the gas tanks supplied during the controversial period and to refill them according to the instructions provided. Accordingly, our correspondents have witnessed even today how litro gas cylinders with a new label were handed over and how they have taken away the cylinders with the old label. The authority says that it is engaged in preparing a procedure to hand over new gas cylinders to the consumers as well. Accordingly, the consumers will be refunded money for the amount of gas consumed in the previous purchased cylinders. He adds that a report from the Monato University is scheduled to be obtained regarding short and long-term measures to be taken in this regard. State Minister Lasanthala Giyavanna has disclosed these facts in Parliament today.
මේ සතිය තුලදී මේ සම්බන්ධව ගත යුතු ක්‍රියාමාර්ග පිළිබඳව ශනිකව ගත යුතු ක්‍රියාමාර්ග මොනවාද මධ්‍යකාලීන සහ දීර්ඝකාලීන යෝජනා මොනවාද.
Meanwhile, a committee has been appointed to look into the incidents that have taken place in the Parliament last Friday and Saturday. Members of the Samagi Jana Balawege who have been boycotting parliamentary sessions since last Saturday have joined the debate today. The sessions since last Saturday have joined the debate today. Meanwhile, the wards of the Ministries of Industries and Trade and affiliated state ministries have taken up a debate in the committee state discussion. Speaker Mahindayappa Abeyewardena says that he has appointed the special committee headed by Deputy Speaker Ranjit Simbalapitia to look into the incidents that have taken place in the Parliament chamber. The objective was to prevent the recurrence of such incidents in future, and the committee is comprised of other members, Ministers Chamal Rajapaksa, Bandula Gunawardena, Vasudeva Nanayakara and Susil Premachand, as well as parliamentarians Gayantha Karunatilaka, Rauf Hakim, Anura Priyadarshana Yapa, Vijitha Herat, R.M. Ranjit Madhu Bandara and M.A. Sumantiran. The Speaker has added that he has already taken every measure for the security for the all MPs.
ආරක්ෂාව සැලසීම සඳහා අවශ්‍ය සෑම පියවරක්ම මම විසින් මේ වන විටත් ගෙන ඇති බව මෙම ගරු සභාවට දැනුම් දීමට කැමැත්තෙමි.
MP Lakshman Kirialla has thanked the Speaker for focusing attention on the protection of the MPs. He added that it is an offence punishable by the Supreme Court to assault, insult or obstruct activities of parliamentarians within the chamber or outside. Prasanna Ranavira says that the highest funds in the history of the country have been allocated for their ministry in the year 2021. This would enable to produce entrepreneurs in the 14,420 Grama Seva division. He added that 10 villages have been set up in the north and east. He also said that 5 million rupees have been reserved for a village engaged in the production of Palmyra products. Minister Vimal Veeravanshu said that if anyone believes that the present government has created an economic crisis, that is a very narrow thinking. He has recalled that the economic growth rate had fallen to 2.5% from 6% during the period of the previous regime. The entire economic process had collapsed. The minister also said that he is pleased to say that more than 950 metric tons of paper was manufactured at the Valachennai paper mill this year. He further said that the factory has earned a revenue of more than 95 million rupees by selling the produce to the local market. The national television has been felicitated with an award at the Golden Jubilee Award presentation ceremony of the voluntary employees of the United Nations. The Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation was presented with the award in connection with 3 documentary programs created on voluntary workers by the producers of the corporation. Minister Namal Rajapaksa has presided over the golden anniversary of the UN Voluntary Service Award presentation ceremony in Colombo yesterday. 50 more organizations and persons who have extended contributions to the Sri Lanka Voluntary Service have also been felicitated on this occasion. The UN First program presented by the SLRC has won the award for the best production in the electronic media division. These 3 programs presented in this connection were The Robin Hood Army, directed by Atula Disanayaka, Para Kiyanath Thamma, directed by Nishadi Bandarnayaka, and Aranta Pembendi Karanavamya, directed by Lasantha Romeshan.
උදේ 6ට කටයුතු ආරම්භ කරන ඇය සවස 4:30 පමණ වෙනතුරු පාසල අසල රැඳී සිටමින් සිසු දරුවන් ගුරුවරුන් ආරක්ෂිතව පාර මාරු කිරීමේ කටයුතු වල නිරත වෙනවා.
සිරිසේන හෙවත් සිරියයියාද මේ පිවිසෙන්නේ Tamanගේ කඩේ අරින්න. හැබැයි සිරියයියාගේ කඩය බාබර් සාප්පුව. සිරියයියා Tamanගේ රැකියාවෙන් මොහොතකට සමුගෙන මේ පියමන් කරන්නේ Tamanගේ ආත්ම තෘප්තිය සාගෙන.
The United Nations Development Programme's local presidential representative Robert Jugman has handed over the UN Fist Award to the chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Reginald Kure. The once-in-a-lifetime Golden Award was presented to founder of the Sarvodaya, A.T. Ariratna, by Minister Namal Rajapaksa.
And also all the volunteers here today who has been appreciated for what you have done to the community, to the country, to the people of Sri Lanka. We Sri Lankans are known to be volunteers from our nature. It's part of our culture. In our younger days, we always used to participate on Shramadana, we call it. So you volunteer to help the community. We believe as a government, as the Ministry of Youth, that we need to not only to promote volunteerism in this country, but also to come up with an innovative program so that we can have a sustainable volunteerism program within the government sector. There are many creative volunteers, dedicated volunteers who are supporting different causes and the community. But we believe as a government, as a Ministry of Youth and as the Youth Council, we are also in verge of drafting a policy framework to have a compulsory volunteer service for the youngsters who are joining, starting from the Youth Council, then maybe later on make it a national policy for all over the country.
And meanwhile, UNICEF marked its 75th anniversary with the Rights of the Child Convention yesterday in Colombo. Opening the convention, a panel discussion under the title Reimagine a Future for Every Child. The panel discussion comprised of 3 young panelists who were involved in the ongoing initiatives of the organization. The discussion was organized to reflect on the progress made over the years and highlighting the pressing issue facing children and young people in the country.
Differently abled children or children with special needs are treated unfairly and they are deprived of the opportunities that other children have. We must address this problem to help them realize their talents. So discrimination has an array of effects on children and their mental health, such as feeling excluded, which directly affects our mental health. This could lead to the suicidal thoughts, it could lead to children lacking confidence, and it can create insecurities. And these psychological scars can travel into adulthood and affect the overall well-being and happiness of a person. These several issues that are linked to bullying and discrimination should be resolved so that everyone can realize our worth, so that the nation can soar to reach our maximum potential. We must end discrimination, we must play our part in society, and we must reach collective unity in diversity.
Imagine all the people living life in peace. You
5 banking service institutions have been established at the premises of the office of the Department of Immigration and Immigration today. Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Ajit Niwad Cabral, has presided over the event. The main objective of the setting up of the new institutions is to facilitate banking services of migrants. The expatriate workers are being accorded the opportunity to open bank accounts at the time they receive their passports. Governor Ajit Niwad Cabral said that they are aware many Sri Lankans are migrating and they remit funds to the country. He further said that they are also aware that these expatriate workers are confronting many problems. The former state minister further said that they have decided to give a helping hand to these Sri Lankan nationals at the time when they are receiving their passports. He has pointed out that if these workers are able to open an account at the time of receiving the passport, they could operate their accounts once they migrated to the respective countries. The governor also said that he is pleased to be able to assist the foreign workers and to make room for the flow of foreign exchange to the country through these employees. Answering a query of a media person, he added that the process of sending money in an illegal manner to the country will be stopped immediately. He also said that they are making a strong effort for all to remit funds in the correct manner. He has recalled that during the war period they had banned draw accounts. These laws are applicable even today. Those who try to send money through illegal means will be dealt according to the law. Controller General of the Department of Immigration and Immigration, Sarath Rupasiri, and other officials were also present on the occasion.
The grand opening ceremony of the Nakamura Foundation was held along with its web launch and media conference at the Lighthouse Gallery recently. On this occasion, Japanese philanthropist Satoki Nakamura has spoken about his endeavors to help the underprivileged students in Sri Lanka. He added that he wants to provide ongoing support for the future of the children of the country to have a better standing for living standard. Mr. Nakamura is hoping to establish an entertainment company in the near future and broadcast a television program that makes the underprivileged to become children's superstars. He has introduced that children's team as Dream Makers.
The Podujana Postal Trade Union Alliance says that it will not participate in any work stoppages. The alliance points out that it is not appropriate to engage in trade union actions at a time when the country is confronted with a pandemic. Ravindra Piyasundara of the Podujana Postal Trade Union Alliance says that they, as responsible government employees, will extend their maximum cooperation for the country to face the challenging situation. He added that all of them have professional problems. However, an environment has not been created in the country to provide solutions to all of their grievances. The trade union activist added that the ultimate outcome of engaging in an agitation at a time when the entire world is in the midst of a dangerous situation would be the further collapse of the country, the society and the state service. He added that was why they have decided not to contribute to the so-called struggle.
And meanwhile, the Chinese vessel carrying a fertilizer consignment with harmful bacteria components has left Sri Lankan waters. The State Council, appearing on behalf of Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage, informed the Court of Appeal today. The petition filed by the Centre for Environmental Justice against the importation of organic fertilizer to Sri Lanka was taken up before the Court of Appeal. Senior State Counsel Nirmalan Vigneshwaran, appearing for the Minister Alutgamage, has informed the courts in this regard. The case was taken up before the Court of Appeal two-judge bench comprising Justice Sobhita Rajakaruna and Justice Dhammika Ganepola. The petitioners informed the courts that they are satisfied with the assurance given by the Minister for Agriculture over the issue. The hearing of the petition was adjourned until May 9th. And that's it for tonight's news. Do it tomorrow at the very same time. Stay safe. Good night.
Good night.